Okay, welcome to the June 8th, 2017 hearing, the Little Rock Planning Commission. We'll take a roll call, please.
Chairman Barry,
Here.
Vice Chair Bubbas,
Here.
Commissioner Bynum,
Here.
Commissioner Cox,
Here.
Commissioner Dillon, Commissioner Finney, Commissioner Hamilton,
Here.
Commissioner Leahy, Commissioner Latour,
Here.
Commissioner Stebbins, Commissioner May.
Here.
You have 10 members present. You do have a quorum.
Thank you, Donna. Do I hear a motion for the approval of the minutes?
Yes, I'd like to move for the approval of the minutes of April 27, 2017.
I'll second.
We have a motion and been seconded for the minutes to be approved. Those in favor, raise your right hand. Those who do not approve? Okay, minutes pass. Before we hear the presentation of the consent agenda, for those who are new to this process, for non-controversial items, the staff will read each and every item, and then the commission will vote on those. And assuming everything is fine with those items, then you may excuse yourself. But these are just for those items that are non-controversial where we don't have cards. So, go to it, Donna.
You want to do the bylaw waiver? That's after.
Little Rock Planning Commission's consent agenda subdivision, June the 8th, 2017. Items for consent withdrawal, item B, file number LA-0074, Bowman Road at Executive Center Drive, advanced grading variance located on the west side of Bowman Road at Executive Center Drive. The applicant submitted a request dated June 8th, 2017, requesting withdrawal of this item without prejudice. The withdrawal request will require a waiver of the Commission's bylaws with regard to the late withdrawal request. Staff is supportive of the withdrawal request. Item number D, file number S-1776, Mountain Valley Preliminary Plat, located at 25616 Cantrell Road. On May the 2nd, 2017, the Little Rock Board of Directors did not overturn the Planning Commission's recommendation of denial for a conditional use permit application request to allow the placement of a wastewater treatment plant as a means of sanitary sewer disposal for this development. Based on the fact the applicant cannot address the means of sanitary sewer disposal for this proposed subdivision, staff recommends withdrawal of this request without prejudice to allow the applicant to secure a means of sanitary sewer disposal for the proposed subdivision. Item number 1, file number S-1626-A, Stevens Addition, replat lots 2RA, 2RB, and 2RC, located at 7 through 11 Pine View Place. The applicant submitted a request dated June 7, 2017, requesting withdrawal of this item without prejudice. The withdrawal request will require a waiver of the Commission's bylaws with regard to the late withdrawal request. Staff is supportive of the withdrawal request. Items for consent deferral, item C, file number LA-0075, Spring Tree Subdivision, advanced grading variance located on south of Ponderosa Drive and south of Spring Tree Drive. The applicant has given effort to address all of staff's comments. The applicant has gained approval of the proposed restoration plan from the Windrock development. The applicant has not gained approval from the church located to the south. Due to the agreement not being in place with the church, staff recommends deferral of this item to the July 20th, 2017 public hearing. Item number 4, file number S-13-12-A, Markham Center Square Subdivision Site Plan Review, located at 9101 West Markham Street. The applicant failed to notify property owners as required by the Commission's bylaws. Staff recommends deferral of this item to the July 20th, 2017 public hearing. Item number 11, file number Z-7812-B, the Islamic Center of Little Rock West, short form PDR, located at 14900 Canis Road. The applicant submitted a request dated May 24, 2017, requesting deferral of this item to the July 20th, 2017 public hearing to allow additional time to prepare a traffic study requested by Public Works. Item number 13, file number Z-9219, Mickles short form PDC, located at 2904 South Arch Street. The applicant submitted a request dated May 24, 2017, requesting deferral of this item to the July 20th, 2017 public hearing to allow additional time to resolve staff's concerns related to the proposed parking. Items for consent approval. Item number 5, file number Z-1412-C, LBPC short form PID, located at 1637 East 15th Street. Staff recommends approval of the request, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions as outlined in paragraphs D, E, and F of the agenda staff report. Staff recommends deferral of the Boundary Street improvements to Security Avenue adjacent to the site until additional development or services are proposed, such as a restaurant, a bar, and bar service, outdoor dining and events, and/or paving and improving the existing parking lot. Staff recommends should the applicant increase the intensity of the use of the property, such as adding food service or changing from a brewery operation to a bar use, staff recommends all parking be paved and landscaped in accordance with the minimum landscape ordinance requirements. Item number 6, file number Z-4470-I, Lot 2, Chenal Commercial Park, short form PCD, located on the west side of Wellington Hills Road in the 100 block of Wellington Hills Road. Staff recommends approval of the request, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions as outlined in paragraphs D, E, and F of the agenda staff report. Staff recommends approval of the variance request from the city's land alteration ordinance to allow grading of both phases with the development of the first phase. Item number 7, file number Z-5099-G, lots 9B through 9E, Northwest Territories, short form PCD, reinstatement, located on the south side of Chenal Parkway and north of Cantrell Road, just west of the Chenal Parkway-Cantrell Road intersection. Staff recommends approval of the request, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions as outlined in paragraphs D, E, and F of the agenda staff report. Staff recommends approval of the variance request from the city's land alteration ordinance to allow grading of the entire site with the development of the first lot. Item number 8, file number Z-5773-B, St. Margaret's Episcopal Church, long form PDR, located at 2900 Chenal Parkway. Staff recommends approval of the request, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions as outlined in paragraphs D, E, and F of the agenda staff report. Staff recommends approval of the deferral request of the installation of the sidewalk along Chenal Parkway until the next phase of building construction. Item number 9, file number Z-6698-D, Norse Furniture, revised short form PCD, located at 3900 John Barrel Road. Staff recommends approval of the request, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions as outlined in paragraphs D, E, and F of the agenda staff report. Staff recommends all future uses of the building match the parking available on the site. Item number 14, file number Z-9220, The Parks, long form PDR, located on the east side of Mann Road, just south of Wilderness Road, in the 9500 to 9700 block of Mann Road. Staff recommends approval of the request, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions as outlined in paragraphs D, E, and F of the agenda staff report. Staff recommends approval of the variance request from the city's land alteration ordinance to allow grading of an entire phase of the subdivision with the development of that particular phase. Item number 15, file number Z-2502-C, Islamic Center long form PCD revocation, located between 40th Street and Colonel Glenn Road on the west side of Whitfield Street. Staff recommends the current PCD zoning classification be revoked and the previously held C3 General Commercial District and MF12 Multifamily District zoning be restored. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you for that reading. First, we'll hear a motion for bylaw waivers for staff late withdrawal request.
Yes,
Chair- Wait.
Oh, thank you. For those who just came in, if you have a card that you just filled out and wish to speak, please submit it to me so we can determine if it was on the consent agenda or not.
Mr. Chairman, I think there's some people come in that they want to talk about item 14 that don't necessarily understand what we're saying all the time. You want to talk about fines? Okay.
Any other cards? Okay. For 10?
Yeah.
Is that on the consent? Okay, it's already off.
Yeah, so we're
Okay.
good. So you're good to go. All right.
I move for the bylaw waiver for items B and 1 to allow for a late withdrawal of the item.
Do we hear a second? Second. Thank you. We have a motion and a second to have a bylaw waiver for a late withdrawal request. Those in favor signify by raising the right hand. And those opposed? Okay, bylaw waiver request. Do we hear a motion for the consent agenda, please?
I move for the approval, whoops. Turn it on. I move for the approval of the consent agenda with all staff recommendations and comments.
Okay, we had a motion second for the consent agenda. Those in favor, raise their right hand.
Just a question, are we gonna pull 14?
They didn't want to speak to it. Thank you, though, for checking. We did vote, didn't we, on the consent agenda? Okay, good. Okay, that's a consent. Yes. If you,
Fill out a card, please.
let's want, if we need to go ahead and,
They need to expunge your vote.
yeah, you go ahead.
You'll need to expunge your vote now.
Yes, we will. So, staff attorney, help me through this. We need a motion to expunge the vote we did for the consent agenda and then redo it with,
We can redo it next. I move for the expungement of the vote on the consent agenda.
I'll second.
okay, we heard a motion to expunge that vote on the consent agenda. Those favors, raise their right hand. Those opposed? Okay,
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on an issue tonight? If so, please bring your card forward now, please. Come on up. Bring your cards forward. If you got them, if you want to speak, you got them, you want them, bring them.
I'm not sure, but I believe what you just said, what I filled the card out for was for LA 0074, and that has been deferred again.
yes, are you Mr. Jack?
I'm Bill Adcock.
Huh? Okay. That was withdrawn.
I mean, is it
So
coming
you-
up again?
It will not come up again.
Oh, so they're not gonna do it now?
Yes. I was
Okay.
getting ready, when he was doing that vote, I was getting ready to tell those that submitted cards for item B on South Bowman that they would not have to come again. So it's been withdrawn.
Okay, thank you.
It's good to check, though. Okay. So staff, we need another vote on consent agenda, now that we pulled 14 off, excluding item 14. Yes, exclude item 14.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda excluding item 14
Second,
with all staff
sorry.
recommendations and comments.
and I will second.
Okay, we have a motion for the consent agenda excluding item 14. It's been seconded. Those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed? Okay. So the consent agenda's been approved. If that, your item was on there, you're certainly welcome to stay or be excused. Which, if there are any questions about that, be sure to ask us. Which means on the regular agenda, we're going to be hearing items A, 2, 3, 10, and 14, if I'm correct. And 12, yes. Okay? All right. No, fine. Staff, we ready on item number 2? A. Oh, Greenwood Edition, yes.
Greenwood Edition preliminary plat located in the 16400 block of Crystal Valley Road. The request is for preliminary plat approval to allow the creation of 3 residential lots from an existing 4.97 acre tract. The lots are proposed containing 1 acre to 2.17 acres. Lot 1 is located along Crystal Valley Road with total acreage for Lot 1 is 2.17. Lots 2 and 3 are indicated as lots without public street frontage. The item was deferred from the Commission's April 27th meeting to allow the applicant to review with the utility companies the desire for easements. The applicant has reviewed the needed easements with the various companies and have indicated the desire for a 30-foot utility easement along the western boundary of this property. Access to the lots is proposed along the eastern boundary. The applicant is working with an adjacent property owner to secure access via an existing driveway. If the access agreement cannot be reached, the applicant will provide a new driveway on Crystal Valley Road and extend the drive via a 30-foot access easement to the rear lots. Staff recommends approval of the request, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions as outlined in paragraphs D, E, and F of the agenda staff report. Staff recommends approval of the variance request from section 31-231 to allow lots 2 and 3 to develop as lots without public street frontage.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Would you'd like to come up, state your name, and we have one card that is speaking, didn't say it's for or against, may have some questions, but,
Oh, Daniel Greenwood.
And I'm Tina Greenwood.
yes. And so, you want to wait to hear what this question this person has?
Yes.
Okay, Johnny Miller?
Yes.
You're here on Hyde Park, aren't you?
Yes.
Oh,
He's here on item 2.
never mind. We're good? I'll keep track. That's why staff's here. No cards on this one. And y'all recommend approval?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I move for approval of item A with all staff recommendations and comments.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this application with staff recommendations. Those approved signify by raising their right hand. Those opposed? Okay, unanimous? Great, good to go. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, now we're on item 2. I'm always one step ahead.
If you're not perfect, I can mess up.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all I need is my license.
Okay, done, item 2.
All right, on item 2, Hyde Park replat, file number S-1793, located on the east side of Madison Street between Charles Bussey Avenue and West 22nd Street. The applicant is proposing to replat an existing tract into 21 single-family residential lots. The lots are indicated 50 feet by 125 feet. The site is zoned R3 Single Family, which allows lot widths of 50 and a minimum lot area of 5,000 square feet. The lots as proposed comply with the development criteria of the zoning ordinance. The plat indicates the construction of one new public street, West 21st Street. The lots are indicated with a 20-foot alley to serve the new lots. The alley will be maintained in a tract and will not be dedicated to the city as a public right-of-way. The homes are designed with layouts to face Charles Bussey, West 21st and West 22nd Street, with alleys in the rear. The carports, garages will be located off of the alleys. The new alleys will be maintained by the owner and developer. Sanitation pickup will be from the main streets and not the alleys. The applicant notes prior to the issuance of a grading permit, a drainage elevation will be conducted of the downstream drainage infrastructure along with a grading and drainage plan developed for the site, which takes into account the history of the site. At that time, a determination will be made to address the needed drainage improvements for the development that conform to the City of Little Rock Stormwater Drainage Manual, and that does not negatively impact adjacent properties. Staff is supportive of this request. The applicant is seeking a variance to allow reduced side setback on the corner lots, the 4 lots abutting Madison Street. The variance is from the subdivision ordinance, which typically requires the adjacent streets to have a 25-foot platted building line. The zoning ordinance would require a 5-foot setback. Staff is supportive of the applicant's request. The applicant is seeking preliminary plat approval to allow the development of 21 single-family residential lots. The lots are being developed in conformance with the zoning of the site. The applicant is seeking the variance to allow the reduced setback. Staff feels the preliminary plat as proposed is appropriate for the development of this site. Staff recommends approval of the request, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions as outlined in paragraphs D, E, and F of the agenda staff report. Staff recommends approval of the variance request from section 31-232E to allow a reduced setback for the 4 lots abutting Madison Street, lots 1, 12, 13, and 21.
Okay, thanks for that reading. Applicant is here. State your name and,
Colley Burrow with Fennell Purifoy Architects.
okay. We just had one card that had some questions about that. You might want to wait to hear what those questions are. Okay. Johnny Miller?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily against the development. I just bought the property that used to be adjoined to this property, and that property cuts off my driveway. I won't have a driveway if they put in a couple houses right next to me. I have a picture showing my property's going parallel to Charles Bussey, and I need that property in front of me for a driveway.
Okay, thank you. Let's, applicant, can you speak to that, please? Or do you understand this question?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't know exactly where he is.
Could
as
you,
far as-
could you
He's,
tell us
he's
what
on
your-
Charles
your-
Bessie on
Well,
the eastern
I
edge.
understand, but
He,
Your
the east, your
4623
east,
Charles Bussey.
eastern lot is where his driveway is at.
so right.
Yep,
Lot 5 and 6.
Okay, lot 5 and 6. So does it cut across the front of it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Actually, just lot 6, I wanted to be able to buy enough for lot 5 and 6.
Okay. I guess we'd have to look into it to see. I mean, none of the lots are sold right now, so.
Yeah.
I
This
Sure
was gonna say, this is the legal issue.
Yeah, this is a legal issue. So you don't own the property.
I don't own lot 6 and 5.
That's a legal issue. He would have to get a private attorney and
Yeah,
figure that out
okay.
as far as adverse possession or what, or access, and that's something way outside our scope.
Okay. Okay. You understand that, Mr. Miller? What's that? Yeah.
Is there any other questions, or?
Ma'am, did you fill out a card?
Yes, I did. Cynthia Coleman, 2104 Madison.
Well, come on up. I got a lot of cards here. I thought I organized them well, but I didn't. Thank you.
How y'all doing? I would like to know, what is this property gonna do for our street? I've lived at that house all my life. My mother was born on that street. The only people that's on that street right now is me and the church next door. My street is quiet. We don't have a lot of noise over there or anything. My concern is when they put these homes up, what kind of people are y'all gonna have coming over there? Who's gonna be living there? Is it HUD homes? Is it for the college students or what? Cause we have no problem on that street whatsoever. I can see his house from my house, he can see my house from his house. And the field that he's wanting to put the houses on, where the veterans home used to be and the blind school used to be, there's a lot of history over there for me and my family. And the kids play in the fields. You know, they ride their bikes over there. We play football over there. What's gonna happen to that for the children? Has anybody thought about the children? I know you're doing a good thing putting the houses up, but now we have a lot of, they've already closed down one school in my community. They've closed down Franklin, a school that I grew up in.
Ma'am,
Now-
you need to address the commission.
Now we want to take away something that the kids have somewhere to go. So I'm asking, what about the crime rate, the noise rate, all of that? We don't have that over there.
All right, Ms. Coleman. Thank you. Applicant?
As far as address what the kids could do in the community, we're looking at doing a community garden and also playground on one of our developments on 1 or 2 lots right now. So that would help. And I can't, I mean, it's kind of hard to foresee. I mean, I would think it'd be helping the area by creating more security, by more people being in the residential area. And as far as, I know your legal concern,
Yeah, speak to the
I
microphone.
do know where he lives. I've met the gentleman, and it looks like his driveway is kind of borderline one of the property lines. So I don't know if it's both properties or not.
I just wanted enough to be able to have, to go around that sewer.
Okay.
Once again, that's
Well, I
outside
know-
of
I
the
understand it's a
scope.
legal issue,
So-
but anyway, I think
Okay.
you could work that out legally, so.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, any questions? I have a question before we get started. This land was formerly public land, is that right, or what was this? Becky, this land for?
It's in the Veterans Home.
Veterans home? Okay, okay.
I guess, and has some history before that. Metropolitan Housing Alliance,
Yeah,
formerly the Housing Authority, Little Rock Housing Authority owns it now.
that's what I thought. Okay, thanks.
I move for the approval of item 2 with all staff recommendations and comments.
I'll second.
I've heard a motion to approve the application, and it's been seconded. Those in favor, raise their right hand. And those opposed? Okay, item passes. We are moving on to item number 3, Wisteria.
Item number 3, file number S-1794, Wisteria Addition Preliminary Plat, located on the west side of David O. Dodd Road, just south of Cohen Lane. The request is for preliminary plat approval to allow the development of 18 acres with 76 single-family residential lots. The development is proposed in 3 phases. The Phase 1 portion of the development includes the construction of David O. Dodd Road to a half arterial street standard and the development of 20 lots. Phase 2 includes the development of 33 lots and a secondary emergency access only drive connecting to Dodd Drive, a stub street located to the south of the site in the Woodridge subdivision. Phase 3 includes the development of 22 lots. The plat includes the development of 3,100 linear feet of new public street. The plat indicates the lots with minimum widths of 60 feet and an average depth of 120 feet. The setbacks are indicated to comply with the typical development standards of the zoning ordinance, with the exception of Lot 41, which is indicated with a 10-foot setback adjacent to Dodd Road, which is a side yard. The ordinance would typically require the placement of a 25-foot setback. The Lot 45 is indicated with a 20-foot front setback adjacent to the Hammerhead terminus. The ordinance would typically require a 25-foot setback on this lot as well. The plat includes the placement of pedestrian paths, which are indicated through tracks connecting to the subdivision to the proposed playground and neighborhood park. Within the park area, the stormwater detention is also indicated. The request does include a variance from the city's land alteration ordinance to allow grading of future phases with the development of the first phase. The applicant has indicated the lots will be graded with the installation of the streets and the basic infrastructure. Staff originally had concerns with the entrance to the proposed subdivision. The entrance was proposed within a curve which has limited sight distance, vehicle stopping for left turns, increase in traffic volumes, and limited sight distance within a 15-mile-an-hour curve, in staff's opinion, could increase traffic hazards in the area. Staff has worked with the applicant to determine the best location for the entrance street to the subdivision and allow adequate sight distance to be secured. The applicant has relocated the entrance street to align with the former gravel farm road entrance to the property. By approving both sides of David O. Dodd near the entrance, the development can create 4 lanes of traffic with a designated left and right turning lane into the project. Staff feels this will, and also allow the 2 through lanes to continue. Staff feels this will create a safe traffic movement, allowing adequate sight distance into the project. Staff is supportive of the applicant's request. The development is proposed at 4.22 units per acre, and staff recommends approval of the request, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions as outlined in paragraphs D, E, and F of the agenda staff report. Staff recommends approval of the variance request to allow reduced front and side setback on lots 41 and 45. Staff recommends approval of the variance request from the city's land alteration ordinance to allow grading of both phases with the development of the first phase.
Thank you for that reading. Do we have the applicant here?
Yes.
Oh, good. Please state your name, and then I'll just advise you, we had just one card that was submitted, so if you just want to wait to hear what that
Sure.
person says.
Joe White.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
we'll wait.
All right, Mr. Johnson?
Thank you. These are some of my concerns and questions regarding this redevelopment. Will the subdivision be a part of the Woodridge or separate subdivision? Will a buffer be constructed by the contractor? Will the street David O. Dodd be open? Will the setback be, how will the setback be determined? I just heard her read 25 feet, because sometimes it's 15, and that don't give the residents room enough to park if there's a weekend activity or guests coming. That's the way Woodridge is, and it's a serious problem, because our kids play and there's no way incoming traffic can avoid that type of accident. Will there be sufficient lots for 76? We have approximately 60-something presently in Woodridge. And David O'Donnell Street is a cutoff street. It's blocked off. It's not open to the area they're trying to develop. So that's why I asked the question, will our division be separate or will it be a part of the new development? And if so, what size houses will be constructed? 15 square feet? All that will determine our property value. Most of the homes in our value are $200,000 or more. So if they coming in trying to do single-family dwelling with 15 square feet or less, or duplex, whatever the case may be, that's going to decrease our value. And that's a major concern for me. The flow-through traffic in Woodridge neighborhoods, it's a safety concern if that's open up. We already have a problem with people coming in our neighborhood as it is now, parking and using that dead-end street as a parking area. The bill of assurance need to include provisions for new neighborhoods and the dues be included in the mortgage. If not, how will that area be able to sustain property value? How will they be able to maintain the fence or whatever they decide to do in that particular area? There's no common area for kids to play, neither in Woodridge, and hopefully that don't happen in this new subdivision. There's no place for the I didn't hear anything about them building a safe area and a place for the neighborhood association to meet and discuss some of these issues. It was sprung on us all of a sudden. I received the notice, and out of the members that stay in that neighborhood, I was the only one that received the notice. It just so happened I had canceled my vacation for that 2 weeks. So now we're here today discussing putting 76 units in it's actually right behind my house. And that's a grave concern to me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Tell me where you live.
I'm at 56 Woodridge, right on the corner.
On the corner.
And I can't
gotcha.
see that because that's too small
Sure.
for me.
Well-
So it's 56 Woodridge Drive.
Okay.
So
He's on the south, you're on the south end.
I don't see 56 yet.
Yeah, move it up.
See it,
So you're right here.
yes.
I got you.
The city
Okay.
present, that's blocked off.
Sure,
It's a dead-end
sure.
street.
Okay.
And we don't want that street open.
And we don't either. So I think we're gonna get along good.
Hey,
So,
Mr. White, would you speak
I
to the
don't
commissioner
think we
about
need
that?
you guys. No, no, seriously.
That's good.
So he makes a lot of great points and the same points we were concerned about. And so, to answer his questions in order, we won't be part of their neighborhood. We were concerned about the cut-through because you can see, I don't think anybody in Wisteria would cut through to drive through his neighborhood, but I think people in his neighborhood, it would be real easy for them just to drive up Dodd Drive and out this new entrance. So, these are going to be nice single-family homes. This is going to be a nice development. We want to be good neighbors. We are providing a playground for the kids and the families. One of the things that happens here when his gentleman's neighborhood was developed, no one was paying attention to the secondary access for emergency. Well, this will actually give them the secondary access. We're going to pave and tie into Dodd Drive, but put an emergency gate with a Knox box. So it actually gives both neighborhoods an emergency access. So, I hate to get too much into the homes and the sizes and all that, but these will be brand new, nice homes. These will be nice lots. I think these homes will be in the 1,800 square foot range. I think they'll be comparable in price to what you see in the neighborhood to the south. Setbacks, all rear setbacks will be 25. So any lot we have backing up to that existing neighborhood will have a 25-foot rear setback. The only, that side right there on lot 6 is the only one we're asking for from a 25 down to a 20, but that's just up against the future street. So I think when this is done, it'll be very comparable, very nice. Nice to have new construction in an area. So we'd ask your support.
Okay. Is there anything different you wanted to add that you hadn't already said?
Just one thing.
Yes, sir.
I would like to know about the drainage, because in our subdivision, as you go south, the landscape goes down. So all those residents adjacent to this new subdivision, it's gonna be very important where that drainage go, because in Water's Edge, when they built that new subdivision, the houses right next to it floods terribly. So that's a concern.
Thank you.
If you could address
Can you
that.
speak to that?
Sure, and that's a great question. So if we could slide the drawing just to the right a little bit. Other direction, sorry, there we go. So he is correct. Everything that is developed in Wisteria will drain to the south. And so we have a detention facility set up over on the lower left, which would be the southwest corner. We'll be able to take most of our drainage there. In the lower, between lots 9 and 10, you see track C. There's a drainage pipe there. We're going to provide detention there, and so everything will be reviewed and approved by the city staff. And so we plan to take good care of them in terms of the drainage. So.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions? No? How about you, Janet? Okay.
Let me just
State.
note on plats, the requirement is abutting property owners only. So only those homes that back up to this subdivision would have been notified.
That's correct. That's different than a zoning notification. Thank you. Okay.
I move for approval of item 3 with all staff recommendations and comments.
Second.
All right, motion seconded for approval of the application with staff recommendations. Those approved, raise your right hand. And those who do not, item passes. Okay. Before we get to the reading of item 10, this is going to be one that we have a lot of cards on. And before Donna reads the staff write-up, I want to remind them of a protocol we have here. That's a protocol for all applications. Is there's a 20-minute limit to each side. So the applicant has 20 minutes to address the commission, and then those opposed to this application will have a total of 20 minutes. So keep that in mind. We do want to hear all voices, but out of respect for everybody, this is not going to be a raucous presidential debate. It's and if you've gotten up to speak once, it's very unlikely I'm going to ask you to come up and speak again. And most times, the things that you've addressed will be addressed, unless you have something very material that has not been addressed, would I call on you again. So, give it your best shot. And
The applicant would like to address the commission prior to the staff presentation.
oh, is that correct? Oh, okay. Well, I did not know that. So. That's right. Very good.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Frank Riggins. I'm with Craft and Tow. We're the engineers for the Hamilton project. We became aware of a condition just before the meeting that is very serious and very real that is occurring on some property that abuts our property. Our project very well may have an effect on that condition, and we would like to have time to meet with the folks who have this condition on their site and to see what could be done. to address this issue. Therefore, we would ask you to consider deferring this item until the next meeting, please.
Well. Any,
Your date would be July 20th.
July 20th? Just out of curiosity, could you elaborate on what the condition is, just for our sake?
It's a flooding condition on the property that is just to the
Well,
south
I
of us.
just want to be sure.
And so we would like to have time to meet with those folks
Okay.
who have brought that issue forward. We are just finding out about it today.
Okay.
And would like to have time to address it.
All right. Okay. Commissioners, any questions of this recent development and request?
Staff have any? Staff, do you have a problem with it? No? Okay.
Good.
You got a hand
I
in the
move-
back of the room. I saw somebody's hand.
You okay?
Couple of.
Okay.
Oh, there's some in the.
Got some residents, local residents with some questions.
On the 20th, that may be a problem for me. I was working out of town today and I made it here for this meeting.
Well, I will note that for those that did submit cards, they will be re-notified, and I understand for scheduling, it might not be amenable to some, and I appreciate y'all coming out. But I suspect we do need to entertain his movement for deferral, though.
Can't we at least get the rezoning part? It's nothing about the development. It has to do with the rezoning.
Well, that's what this.
The rezoning is the development plan.
Yes.
Right, but what I'm saying is, all of us who oppose the rezoning, we're not gonna change the position we have.
But it may change his plan.
Right.
And so the commission can't approve a plan that they don't have in front of them.
It was the rezoning that had to be approved before the plan can go forward.
No, the rezoning is the plan. They're one and the same. What the planning commission ultimately, assuming positive, what the planning commission and ultimately the board would approve is his zoning, his plat plan.
Yes, but because he has this issue the last minute, and we're all here,
His plan could change based on what this condition is.
cancel it,
Yes, he
Yes,
could
yes.
elect to not do it based on the flood. So,
says he's canceling it, and we don't have a
he,
Well, we don't know if he.
He's not saying that.
Okay. We don't know if he's totally going to be canceling this, but he is
We would
asking
know-
for a deferral, which I'm sure you would agree with. At least it's not moving forward. So with that, if commissioners don't have any questions, I entertain a motion.
I move for the deferral of item 10 to July 20th.
And I second.
Okay, we have a motion for us to defer item number 10 to July 20th, and it's been seconded. Those approved signify by raising your right hand. And those opposed? Okay. If we do have your cards, you'll be re-notified, and I'm sorry for your trip to City Hall. This does happen from time to time. Okay.
I know, like right before time.
I do hate deferrals because of.
We ready for item 12?
If you're ready to read the item after everyone's excused themselves, we'll be ready to go for the next item, which is item 12. Okay. Okay, item 12.
Item 12, file number Z-9218, 714 Woodrow Street, short form PCD, located at 724 South Woodrow Street. The request is a rezoning of the site from R3 Single Family to PCD Planned Commercial Development to allow the development of the site with a restaurant and electrical vehicle charging station. The development plan includes a solar-covered electrical vehicle charging station and a shipping container restaurant. Associated with the electrical vehicle charging portion of the development, there will be an equipment enclosure of approximately 8 by 8, housing electrical equipment for the charging facility. The charging facility is located on the southern portion of the property, located adjacent to Lamar Street. The plan includes 6 dedicated charging spaces. The facility will include at least 3 quick charging structures and the ability to add more as needed and finances permit. The maximum charging space proposed is 11 spaces. The restaurant is proposed containing 1,280 square feet and will be include outdoor seating behind the restaurant in the form of a patio. 4 40-foot-long shipping containers, 2 of which will be second floor, will be configured in an L shape with the kitchen and the restrooms on the ground level and seating upstairs. Indoor seating is proposed to seat 35 customers. Patio seating is proposed to accommodate up to 30 additional customers. Maximum height of the shipping containers is 25 feet. Parking for a restaurant is 1 space per 100 gross square feet of floor area, which would typically require the placement of 12 parking spaces. The plan has not taken into consideration the required right-of-way dedication on South Woodrow Street, which will result in an additional 15-foot of additional right-of-way to be dedicated to the city. On Lamar Street, an additional 4 feet of right-of-way is required to meet the master street plan. This will result in the loss of 2 parking spaces on the northern portion of the development and the parking off the alley, and the loss of 1 space along Lamar. The site is proposed with street access in 3 locations, an alleyway abutting the property on the north side, a proposed entrance approximately 40 feet from the intersection of Woodrow and Lamar from the back alley off of Lamar Street, and parking is proposed off the alley located to the north. Hours of operation proposed 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. The applicant has indicated dinner hours may be added in the future, which would extend to 10 p.m. The charging station will have 24-hour access. Staff is not supportive of the applicant's request. The site is indicated on the city's future land use plan as residential low. Along South Woodrow Street, the uses on the west side are residential and the uses on the east side are non-residential. Historically, South Woodrow Street has been the transition from non-residential to residential. Staff feels the placement of the commercial development at this location is not appropriate, and staff recommends denial.
Okay. Thank you for that reading. We have the applicant here, please. Please state your name and
Hi, my name is
address
Jeff Franklin,
address the issues that staff has raised.
and we believe that we've addressed all of these issues, hopefully, including the parking space situation on the northern end of the property there. But we brought some graphics to add to our presentation. So, looking at the biggest contention for us failing to get approval in our last meeting was the fact that historically this has been zone residential on the corner of Woodrow and Lamar here, and we are proposing that residential is not going to happen on that corner. That it's right by 630. It's across from substation, an energy substation. So we just don't see that that's very viable for a residential area. And it kind of bookends the neighborhood there. So we're looking to bookend the neighborhood with a commercial development and across from another PCD.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of the zoning map here showing in red the PCD that was mentioned that has been recently approved for a retail center. That's directly across the street from us. Directly to the north would be a I2 use. So what we're looking at is being adjourned by PCD that's been approved for retail as well as an I2, and then our property is essentially on 630 abutting that corner, and then as well as across the street from another PCD and an I2 use. R3 is kind of the overwhelming to the west.
You're going to have to get to the microphone because
Our viewing audience at home.
Sorry. This is Adam, Adam Day, architect.
Yeah, thank you. State the name.
So as I was trying to show, the site is abutted by another PCD. We are bordering 630 and the as well as the energy substation, which would be directly across the street to the south of this property. We wanted to address and
I wanted to look over here. And so what we're trying to show is that the neighboring property to our west, or excuse me, to the east and to the south is not conducive to residential development. And we think this is kind of a perfect addition to providing a new amenity to this residential neighborhood. Not sure what's going on across the street with the new PCD that was approved recently, but being kind of that intersection or entry point from 630 into that neighborhood, having a progressive look on vehicular traffic in the future and how that fuel will come from electricity, providing a photovoltaic station for them to charge there. It's a concept that Jeff came to us and we were really excited about with AMR Architects, and we wanted to provide something new and exciting for this community, and that will have plenty of visibility from 630.
Anything else you want to add before we have questions?
I would just like to continue to emphasize the point that residential development on this site seems very low.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioners, there are no, oh, I'm sorry, we do have other cards in support. Melinda Glasgow, you wish to get up?
Yes, thank you. I'm Melinda Glasgow, and I just wanted to speak in support of this proposed development. And in full disclosure, I am Jeff's mother. And I'm also a property owner. I own 725 Booker, which is the vacant lot behind. And in complete full disclosure, the FG Enterprises, the G is me. So anyway, just wanted to show support.
Okay, thank you. And Danielle Roy? Ray, okay.
I'm Danielle Ray. I'm the president of the Capitol View Stiff Station Neighborhood Association. And I just want to kind of put a timeline on Jeff's involvement with the Neighborhood Association in this particular project. He first came to us more than a year ago to kind of propose the idea of this project coming into the neighborhood. And throughout the process, the neighborhood has expressed a lot of support for this, and any concerns that we have expressed to Jeff, he has addressed. And so this project has already been kind of designed and conformed to the Neighborhood Association. This neighborhood is a very progressive neighborhood, and we are very focused on energy efficiency, things that are environmentally friendly. So the charging stations for the cars are a perfect fit for the neighborhood. Also, we are in the process of starting new branding for the neighborhood and just different awareness about things that the neighborhood offers. And then this would offer, first of all, something as a point of entry into the neighborhood there, which has been a vacant lot for many, many years, and it's not been developed into anything that was exciting for the neighborhood for decades before that. And I would say that to deny based on the fact that this could be used as future residential would be to stunt the growth of the neighborhood association and the neighborhood as a whole, because this lot will not be developed as a residential area, because that is so close to 630. It's across the street from the power substation, which, as the neighborhood association president, I'm constantly getting complaints about what we can do to draw attention away from that substation. And I think this is a perfect idea for that, especially some of the colors and things that they've proposed in the development. I think definitely draw your eye to the restaurant rather than to that substation. So as a whole, I think it's a great opportunity for the neighborhood. The neighborhood as a whole has expressed a lot of interest in this. We're very supportive of his plan and his project.
Thank you.
Can I just add that we like the fact that the substation's across the street because we think we might be able to grab an extra electron or two from it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good thought. Okay. Commissioners, any questions, discussion? Commissioner Latour?
It's not a question. I love my staff, but I can't find anything not to like about this one, so I'm with you.
Okay.
I'd second that. I think it's very attractive. If I were in the neighborhood, I'd want it close to my house. I think it looks good and it's strong development. And that's okay, staff. We can disagree from time to time. That's all right. We still love you. Hopefully you'll still love us, but that's part of it. But, I really like it. So I'm gonna support it.
Yeah. Other commissioners?
Yeah.
I just
Commissioner
wonder
Lane.
how many cars there are in Little Rock that requires this charging station over there. And, what's the possibility of charging them at home? Is it possible? I'm opposed to it. I'll tell you right off the front, I was opposed to it before you ever started your spiel over there. But, I don't think we need
I
that.
appreciate your honesty.
I don't think we need that, electric charging station down there myself, and for other reasons.
Sure.
Well, hold on, that's okay. It's,
Well, I mean, I don't know if she can or not. That's,
okay, come on up.
she still has 13 minutes and
Yeah.
31 seconds.
That's right. And I'll threaten to use all that if I have to. No, I'm kidding. I really won't. I've got other stuff to do too. But there are very few of these electric car charging stations, and it's a very unique electric car charging station. It's not like the kind you would have at your home. It's like a fast charge.
It's a fast charge.
Takes about 20 minutes, right?
We're looking for cross-country travelers as well as locals.
Right. So this is a very unique opportunity to have something like this in our neighborhood to attract people both from the neighborhood and to the neighborhood who may not live there. And being so unique, it's something that our neighborhood can offer that others can't. And I think it is very forward thinking, which is a great fit for the culture of our neighborhood, which is, like I said, very energy efficient. We're always focused on things that are going to help the planet. And this is something that fits well with that. Part of what the neighborhood is about. I mean, we've had one of the longest continually operated community gardens in the city, and things like that are just so important to our neighborhood. It's a perfect fit for our culture there.
Thank you
Yes,
for that. Yes, Commissioner May.
For fear of being laughed at, I'm afraid to enter this discussion. But I'm gonna be there for 20 minutes. Are you gonna make your money off the charging or the restaurant?
Well, I mean, to speak to Mr. Leahy, is that correct? To speak to Mr. Leahy's, not a whole lot of electric cars right now running around, Little Rock anyhow. You go out to the West Coast and it's every third car, but they'll be here soon. And so what we're looking to do is brand, the name and our facilities and then build out from there. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our revenue with our farm-to-table style restaurant.
How are you gonna survive until I get my electric car?
The farm-to-table restaurant will be open 7 to 7.
So you're really looking to the restaurant as your moneymaker right now?
Absolutely. That's, I was in the restaurant industry for about 10
Does
years.
this not
before I was a
bother the
teacher,
neighborhood
so-
that you may have, you don't serve beer or what are you gonna do to
We
entertainment?
have put in our plan commercial development here that we would like to talk to ABC and see about maybe doing beer and wine. We don't really want to do the hard stuff necessarily, but beer and wine eventually, and that's kind of an eventuality because we're also looking at the kids coming back and forth from Central on a daily basis, and so we're thinking we might be able to pick some of those up in the afternoon, come have a burger, and that kind of deal. Sit on the patio, use free Wi-Fi. So really, we're looking at our moneymaker being our breakfast and lunch at the restaurant.
Now, if you present this as a hamburger joint, no reflection, we would have you standing in line to protest it, I think.
I don't get that response when I put in a burger joint. Everybody wants me to come to town. I get recruited.
Okay,
I knew I was gonna be able to.
And by the way, we love David's Burgers.
Thank you.
All right.
We
If you're
better
interested-
think about what we're approving is my point.
Well, if we vote this thing down, I don't know that we've ever had one where we've had no cards against it and then community comes in and supports it and speaks very passionately for it. And again, this is another thing that is going to bring in, the amount of money invested in some of these cars is very, very high. So it's bringing in some clientele into the area that I think is a great thing. So
Commissioner Hamilton.
Yeah, as former director of the State Energy Office, I applaud what you're doing because it's forward thinking. Folks got to take that risk to step out there and do it. There are actually quite more electric vehicles in Little Rock than you can imagine. So I'm for it.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions? Commissioner Stebbins?
Did I understand the applicant right that they had adjusted their site plan to meet your right-of-way requirements?
Well, I forgot to
and
ask that
setback?
for the right-of-way. Did you address the right-of-way requirements of Public Works dedication? You understand what they were asking?
We did. I didn't understand why, because we resubmitted a new site plan, so I wasn't sure based on what we had discussed, or what we had submitted.
You do
if
need
those
to
are
address
still-
that now here. Public Works,
The right-of-way that was indicated on your site plan and the surveyor didn't pick up the dimensions of the existing right-of-way that's out there. So to meet the master street plan on Woodrow Street, an additional 15 feet of right-of-way is required to be dedicated to the city, which will then impact the parking. And it may be that you wouldn't want to build any of the solar array or or the building or anything, but it may be that you could go ahead and put that parking in, and franchise that parking, but at some point in the future, if it's ever widened, then you would lose those parking spaces. Same thing with Lamar. There's 4 additional feet of right-of-way that's required. Down Woodrow and then down Lamar. At that point, we did not know that all the right-of-way was not in place. We felt that the right-of-way was there for Woodrow and Lamar, but after further research, the right-of-way is not in place.
okay, hold on. Let's get back to the microphone so we can hear and keep some order.
So you're saying 15 feet from the west property line and 4 from the south is,
Required to meet the master street plan.
okay. And so, based on our plans, the parking doesn't start till 15 feet from there, so there would be that right of way, but I guess the turning radius required for the alley would then have to be accounted for
Landscaping.
and landscaping, so that buffer would then need to be,
The minimum that you can have is 6 feet and 9 inches, and we can work all these details out, but it's just that you know that there is additional right-of-way that's required, should
Okay.
this be approved.
yes, and I think based on, we're not placing any buildings or any structures in that area. It would
Right.
strictly be just parking for the time being and could be adjusted at a later date.
Yes.
During that time, okay.
We're actually gonna put a bench for the Metro right there.
Okay, well, thanks. That was a good catch, Commissioner Stebbins. Commissioner Latour?
I don't want to derail anything, but I call the question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I did want to say something before, as chair.
Go ahead. You can
Before I call the motion, which you already called. Yeah, my only fear with this one is personal. You know, my wife will want the 2018 Model S Tesla that she's been
Go
wanting
buy
for
it
the last
for.
few years, and I've been saying, well, let's wait.
How about a certified pre-owned? She could get a lease.
Well, yeah. So anyhow, so we've got a question called. So here, motion.
I move for approval of item 12 with all staff recommendations and comments except that of denial.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the application with recommendations except that for staff denial. So those who approve the application, raise your right hand. And those who do not? Okay. Ten- Well,
Staff will work with, it'll all work out.
okay, thank you
We'll get it resolved before it goes to the board,
for the board.
or Jamie will.
Very good. Thank you, thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
to go. All right.
Thanks.
All right, we'll read item 14 in just a second here.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's read item 14, please.
Item 14, file number Z-9220, The Parks Longform PDR, located on the east side of Man Road, just south of Wilderness Road in the 9500 to 9700 block of Man Road. On August the 11th, 2016, the Little Rock Planning Commission approved a preliminary plat to allow the development of the property, which contained 120 acres with 365 residential lots. The development was proposed in 6 phases. The lots were indicated as 60 feet wide and 120 feet deep. 2 access points to Man Road was proposed. An additional emergency access was located connecting to Peace Valley Road to the south via an all-weather drive. The developer proposed to improve Man Road in 2 phases as the adjacent property developed. The developer is now proposing to rezone the site from R2 single family to PDR Planned Development Residential to allow the development of 120 acres with 400 residential lots. The lots are proposed with 25-foot front and rear setbacks. Side yard setbacks are indicated at 5 feet. The homes proposed on, the lots are indicated as 50-foot wide and 60-foot wide lots. The homes proposed on the narrow lots will be the same square footage as the homes on the wider lots. Phasing will occur in 40 to 60 lots constructed in each phase. The current plan has the same street configuration, access to Man Road, and proposes the same improvements to Man Road. 2 access points to Man Road will be provided, and the additional emergency access is indicated. The development does indicate green spaces and walking trails and play fields, which will remain the same as the preliminary plat approval. An energy transmission line runs through the property. The easement will allow for pedestrian trails to be easily accessible from all areas of the development. Pedestrian tables will be constructed to slow traffic and create connectivity to the trail system throughout the development. Trails will be maintained by the Property Owners Association. The applicant is seeking a variance from the Land Alteration Ordinance to allow grading of the lots as each phase is developed. The applicant has indicated the builder purchasing the lots require that all trees be removed and the lots graded with the pad-ready site for new home construction. The request does not include clearing of the entire site with the first phase of the development. As each phase is developed, then that particular phase will be cleared. The plan indicates accessory buildings and structures will be allowed as per the R2 single-family district. Fencing is proposed as allowed per the R2 single-family zoning district. The request includes the allowance of home occupations, and signage for home occupations is allowed in the zoning ordinance. Staff is supportive of the applicant's request. The applicant is seeking a rezoning of the site from R2 single-family to PDR to allow the development of the 400 homes, which results in a density of 3.3 units per acre. Staff feels the development of the lots as indicated on the site is appropriate, and staff recommends approval of the request, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions as outlined in paragraphs D, E, and F of the agenda staff report. Staff recommends approval of the variance request from the city's land alteration ordinance to allow grading of the entire phase of the subdivision with the development of that particular phase.
Okay, thank you for that reading. The applicant is here. We have 3 cards. Would you like to wait to hear from the, okay. Betty Bryant.
So my house is at the very bottom. It's a tiny little dot down there that will be surrounded by all of this new construction. And my family has lived in this neighborhood for 25 years without the extra 420 some neighbors, and we would really like to continue that. We have a nice, quiet neighborhood. We all know each other. We all look out for each other. And we don't have any crime in our neighborhood. And we'd like to keep it that way. And with that many neighbors moving in, there's bound to be a problem. You know, it seems that all of the other apartment complexes in our area, they come in, they build them, and then they just, you know, become run down and dilapidated, and nobody takes care of them. And then, you know, crime goes up, and you know, you can hear the gunshots in the night and all that, and we really just want to keep our nice, quiet little neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Sharon Forster.
Yes, I just have some questions. On the first page, it talks about a mixture of 50 and 60-foot wide lots, and then on page 2, they're going to increase the houses from 365 to 400. So is that a ceiling of an additional 35 lots? And basically, are those adjustments to those lots going to be phase 1, or are they going to be distributed throughout the subdivision?
Okay, thank you. We'll get the questions answered. And then, Rowena Napton?
Thank you. It's Rowena Hampton.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No problem. At least you got the first name right.
Yeah, I
Most
did.
people don't.
All right.
My concern covers several things. First of all, we did not get this notice in my area until last week. It comes certified mail where you had to go to the post office and pick it up. And believe it or not, the title, the place that it come from, the name itself is misleading. It comes from White Daters Inc. Most of our neighborhood is mixed. We have a lot of Hispanic and a lot of African American, very few Caucasians out there. So most people didn't even bother to go get it if they received notice of it at all. Second, we already have a high crime rate in southwest Little Rock. We have quite a few apartment complexes out there. And in all of those apartment complexes, if you put a police report, they are constantly getting calls out there for gunshots in that area over in the apartment complexes. Now, in this area that they're proposing to tear down our woods, we have a family of red foxes that have been there for years. We have squirrels, we have rabbits, we have all type of wildlife out there. Now, you come out there and tear down the woods, what is going to happen to our family of foxes that we have all kind of taken in as pets? Everyone put food out there for the foxes. They don't come across our fence lines. We're able to teach our children about the wildlife out there. And, you know, it is a nice, quiet area on that side of Man Road. Now, on the other side of Man Road is where you have the apartment complexes. Also, we just went through this battle of getting CN City torn down after it had been vacant for years and years and years. We just went through that battle. Now, we got other apartment complexes out there that are vacant, dilapidated, run down, dope houses, and what have you, that we are now battling to try to get torn down. And we do not want to see another one put out there. At the very least, I would request that you all put this on a delay until the other neighbors are actually notified of these plans. We have a lot of neighbors out there that don't even know about this because of the fact that it come from, quote, White Daters Inc. So they didn't go pick up the notifications. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. White?
Kind of got my feelings hurt. Man, no, you know, White's a pretty typical name. The Daters, he's from Iowa. I can't really. No, I'm all kidding aside. You know, we were here a year ago with this plan. I don't think we had as many. Well, let's address that then, and just ask staff. I mean, we
Last time it was a preliminary plat, a subdivision, and the notification requirement for plats is abutting property owners. This is a rezoning, and the notification is all property owners within 200 feet.
So, and we're required to send those out 15 days prior, and we did as required. And so I think the last time we did this, there was maybe 90 letters that went out, and I think we're in the 130s this time, just because the extra 200 feet took in a larger group of people. Just hearing what the comments are. I mean, these are going to be single-family homes. They're referring to, keep bringing up the MF. We're not here for multifamily projects. These are nice single-family homes, new, 2-car garage, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, brick on the front. These are going to be very nice homes. I would ask why the extra 35 lots, and the reason for the 35 lots, we have quite a bit of Man Road frontage that we have to improve, which is a big cost to us. Normally on 120 acres, on 60-foot lots, we get 4 lots to the acre, which would be 480 lots. If we do the 50-foot lots, we're going to be up into the 550 or 600 range. So we're only putting 400 homes, and the reason is because we're keeping so much green space throughout the development. And I hope
the family of foxes stay in our green space, because that's where we want them. I mean, this is really gonna be a nice development, family-oriented, walking trails, ball fields. We have 2 ball fields. I mean, I think people are really gonna wanna be here. New constructions, again, always great for an area to have brand-new construction. But, you know, I think multifamily is a hot button for people. It makes them nervous. This is not that at all. These are gonna be single-family homes. That's all I got. I don't know what to do about that White Gators thing. I'm gonna work on that.
That's all right, we'll work.
Change your name.
Work through that.
Did you meet with any of the homeowners? Have y'all met with any of the homeowners?
We got some calls. We offered to come to the Southwest Ups, talk to Commissioner Leahy. The developer talked to Director Wyrick. They didn't think it was a big enough change to come out, because it was just exact same layout, same streets, same everything, and so we did not, but we did offer to.
Was this one that gave you a standing ovation when you did present it?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that right, Troy? Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from commissioners?
I'd like to make a comment. Ms. Hampton, when she referred to the crime in southwest Little Rock, the police department tells us in their quarterly report that the lowest rate in Little Rock is in southwest Little Rock, got the lowest crime rating in that precinct out there. And this mailing out notices, we've been doing that for years, and a lot of people won't, she's correct, a lot of people won't go to the post office to pick them up. They don't care where it's from. And then they want to know what, I was in a meeting a week ago down at the United Methodist Church in Mapleville, and it was discussed there by those people, this same project. And I was expecting some of them to be down here tonight, but they didn't show up.
Okay.
But ma'am, I have to work too. And I was
Okay.
planning on leaving here at 5 o'clock and going to my next
all-
job, but I don't.
Let's stay on
okay.
track here. Any other comments, commissioners? Okay.
I move for the approval of item 14 with all staff recommendations and comments.
Okay, we hear a motion for the application with all staff recommendations. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right. Those approve, raise your right hand. Those who do not approve? Okay, motion passes. Okay, we have citizens communication. Hearing none? Oh,
I'm a citizen. I was just hoping we could raise somewhere between $2 and $3 and buy the city a laser pointer, so when they're standing down there doing this, we can see.
usually she does the mouse pointer, but I don't know. There is a little different setup you have today. Okay. 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 All right.
If those people can get rid of the squirrels out there, I'd like to know how, because we have 6 living in our backyard.
Okay, we're adjourned.